Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back. We have now gone live and we shouldn't be seeing any more reruns for a little while yet. Looks like we are going to be going into the game with Peculiar Gaming and GamingGear. I am Spuddington and I am joined today by Broken Shard.
Hey, what's up, Spuddy? How you doing?
I'm doing pretty well. It does look like Champion Select has already started, and fair warning for the viewers, we are going to be a little bit behind the picks you will be seeing on screen because there are only 2 spectator slots in the lobby, so we will have to cast Champion Select from the stream because the German stream is taking up one of the slots and our own stream is taking up the other. So yeah, we are casting from the stream. Bans have come out though. I have seen a Renekton Shen, Thresh, Kha'Zix, Zed, and Twisted Fate ban.
Yeah, those are pretty standard bans. I mean, all of those bans are definitely champions you'd expect to be banned because they're picked a lot in the meta, and they're really comfortable champions for people to pick. But one thing I want to point out is that if I was GamingGear, I would be just a little bit more cautious about this team, because one thing that you should note is that 4 out of 5 of the members have been playing on professional teams already in the past. Phalox used to be the support for Fnatic. Hammer used to be the AD carry of Millennium. They played, I believe, in IM Hanover 2 years ago. Amazing used to be the jungler for Acer. And JWoww played with the Swedish team 7 Shiny Seamen, the team that went like 3rd place at DreamHack when they put themselves together last minute. So all these players are definitely, you know, they're high skilled, so GamingGear really have to bring this to the game.
Yeah, and they also have that experience with working as a team in that kind of competitive environment, which is undervalued, I feel, by a lot of people, because having that experience, having that pressure on you, knowing how you can cope with it, knowing how to prevent it from affecting the way you play is you know, it's crucial. But we are now seeing some picks coming out. Diana has been picked up, Orianna has been picked up, and it looks on my screen like they're hovering over that Jarvan the 4.
I think this is going to be a Diana top, because the JWoww, one of his most played is actually Diana. He likes assassins like Zed, Kha'Zix, and Diana, and when Zed and Kha'Zix are banned, who's left?
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Diana is one of those really strong champions. It is interesting though that putting her top, she does tend to have a little bit of an issue in that she doesn't have an inherent escape. She is, however, for an assassin, very tanky and very difficult to kill with that Moonfall to disrupt people, going for her with that shield as well.
She's a tank assassin, I
guess. She assassin the tanks because she's such a tank assassin. But anyway, let's see. Zac and Sona being hovered over by the other people.
Yeah, I know what they're going to go. They're going to go for a very dive-centric comp with Diana and Zac, and then the Sona's going to be able to shoot her ultimate from the back line. It's a really solid team comp, especially because this is going to be a Zac mid, by the way. Zac mid is really good. If you build Magic Pen and a good amount of AP, you deal a lot of damage to backline. So what I see here is we have this Orianna Jarvan on Team GamingGear, and then we have this kind of all-in comp coming in from both teams. So it's going to be 2 brick walls kind of running into each other. And we might see another bit of a clusterfuck coming on this game.
We do want to avoid swearing on stream if we possibly can. Certainly save it for the actual action when it's going on. But yeah, Jarvan Orianna is the king of you know, just unstoppable kind of jumping in. Like, obviously second maybe to Malphite, but that wombo combo of just having that guy jump right into the middle, then have that Orianna pile them all in, then you have that Cataclysm coming down on top of that, then obviously you want to have some extra AoE in your team composition, so I'm a little bit surprised to see them hovering over Caitlyn at the moment. Wouldn't be surprised if they went for that Misfortune pickup instead. Caitlyn does have the advantage though that she's obviously not quite as easily dived herself.
One thing that you should, sorry to interrupt you, but like just one thing you should just note is that, yeah, MF would really be good in the team comp, but in general, the non-escape AD carries just go down really quick to this heavy dive-in comp that comes in from Diana and Zac. I mean, MF doesn't really have the opportunity to just sit there and hit people when she's being dived on by multiple people. And we see the Lee Sin pick. I'm much more favorable of a Caitlyn over the MF. However, Varus actually does have his place in this team comp, because if people start like lining up to try to get him, he can just pop his ult on them, the Chain of Corruption, and as people try to follow up on Peculiar Gaming, they're going to be chained as well, which is going to open up many opportunities for Jarvan and Orianna to really set that big AoE. So I think what GamingGear have kind of transitioned from a heavy engage comp to a disengage comp, which I really like that they're adapting in the middle of something that they had planned.
Yeah, they have they have the tools to basically do either, because you can have that setup, you can have that Jarvan going in with the Orianna, pull everyone in, and then you put the Chain of Corruption in on top of that, and then you have, you know, the Lulu ult on the Jarvan. But then again, it works the other way around. You can have it so that Zac and Diana are diving in, then they get, you know, the Lulu ult on that Varus to push them away, Chain of Corruption keeps them away as well, and then Jarvan and Orianna can kind of keep them clumped so that Varus can just destroy them. It does work both ways. They have actually got an Ashe to deal with, which isn't such a common pick nowadays.
Yeah, Ashe isn't actually very well known to be picked lately. She was pretty much the queen of Season 1 and some parts of Season 2. But her damage potential versus, you know, this HP stacking meta is very low. Especially now that since the majority of the champions that are being picked often, like, say, Jarvan, Diana, you know, Zac, Twisted Fate, these champions have a really easy time of getting to non-escape AD carries. And when you've got this type of gap-closing team, Ashe doesn't have the opportunity to really kite them if they're already in her face when she starts auto-attacking.
Yeah, but in fairness, yeah.
However, there is, of course, that arrow. And when you're playing an all-in team, you're kind of saying, okay, AD carry, goodbye. So it's going to be up to GamingGear. It's like, if GamingGear can get the engage, then it's going to be decent for them. However, if Peculiar get the engage, I feel that they're going to be trying to kind of collapse onto their AD carry and worry about the Ashe later.
Yeah, so we're actually now seeing that Rumble pick up on top of the rest of it. So really, definitely, very versatile team. As you said, Equalizer is the king of an AoE damage ability that can be used either to disengage or engage. But it's going to be interesting to see how well they can disengage from that Ashe IO, which is the king of hard initiates, and obviously having all that follow-up coming in there. Both teams, though, still do have the means to both disengage and engage. Obviously, the disengage is stronger for GamingGear, but I do believe we are going to be moving to a quick commercial break while we wait for the delay timer to tick down.
Well, we just get the last pick. Oh my god, the stream
have you not already got
started for me.
Right. That would be a problem for you. We have actually got the last pick was in fact a Rumble.
Okay, that makes sense. Their team comp has good engage, disengage, and AoE damage, so it's a very balanced team comp. I really like this comp from GamingGear, and now we can go commercial break.
Yeah.
So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. We are just popping into the game now. Loading screen should be just about done when I'm saying these words. We have actually got a pause coming in, but this is Peculiar Gaming versus GamingGear. So I am Spuddington. I nearly said Pulse because I do that so much with
let's
him.
arrange the champions while we're waiting, so people can see the easier.
Yeah. Obviously, I'm not going to bother doing that myself because I don't care and nobody can see my screen. But yeah, obviously that might be something for Smuggy to do. But yeah, as I say, you may have heard him already. But Broken Shard is with me today.
Hey, baby.
Hey, how are you? No. So we'll be trying to avoid innuendo where possible, but I very much doubt we will completely manage to do that. But we are potentially seeing Amazing looking for a quite an aggressive sort of position. Is just going to defend that jungle entrance though.
It's always a pleasure to watch Amazing play his Lee Sin. He's one of the best Lee Sins I've ever seen in solo queue, though. I'm obviously much better than him. Just joking. But definitely keep an eye on this guy. He's one of the few people, like maybe him, Diamond Prox, are the only few people I can really trust just to play a Lee Sin in pre-made games or competitive games, just because of how skilled he is. Like, Amazing's mechanics are very high, but I really like the positioning from Peculiar Gaming. I mean, they know that their level 1 isn't exactly strongest, although if they do face check the Sona Ashe, they could potentially get one shot. We all heard the horror stories about how much burst damage Sona and Ashe do have at level 1. When you got that power chord combo plus him of Valor and then the Ashe volley crit, it's big damage to these squishy champions. So yeah. Smart from GamingGear, they kind of just want to see what they kind of want to just stare down. It's like having a dance-off versus each other, seeing, right, we're going to keep pushing forward and see how they respond. So it seems that they're happy with the response and they're going to go back to their jungle end. There's a bit of a swap here, so purple side swaps, definitely something very common. And I think it's very smart of them to do, since Varus Lulu are very good at pushing lanes. And poking, too.
Yeah, it will give them that ability to really look to take that tower early. I would expect normally that Varus would have some level of lane dominance over Ashe, but obviously, as you said, blue side do get that golem advantage if they are laning bot lane versus bot lane. So, yeah, I'm not surprised to see them trying to avoid putting themselves into that situation. Ashe does actually have some interesting notes about her scaling, in that she scales quite poorly in that she doesn't have any kind of steroid, but she does actually, I think, now have the highest base attack speed in the game. Don't quote me on that one, but I think it might be.
I feel that Ashe, like, no matter what, she always hurts in the late game, because it's just because you have a sense of helplessness. You can't actually do anything to her while she hammers you down. But I like that they did the swap, also because I feel that the Lulu Varus are going to have a much more successful 2v1 lane because of how aggressive they are. Ashe is really good, at poking with Sona, and they didn't want to get out-poked with the Lulu Varus. Rumble, on the other hand, he's not gonna die to the Ashe Sona lane. They don't really have good burst early on, and with no real kill potential, he's pretty much gonna say, okay, I'm going to farm, and since I'm Rumble, I scale really, really well into the mid game anyway, so bring it on.
Yeah, Rumble, pretty good 1v2 laner because he doesn't really mind being denied quite a lot of creeps. Not a huge concern, and we did actually see Amazing pop up behind Diana, potentially looking to support them in the event that Jarvan might have been going for that classic dive up top.
He just wants to play a little bit defensive, but if you look at the wards, that there's one right here over Amazing, just walked over. That's a perfect ward position, because now they know that what his intentions are. I want to step into your jungle and find you, Jarvan, but Jarvan's like, alright mate, I'm on the other side of the map, enjoy yourself.
Speaking of which, we have actually got Jarvan looking around in this bottom lane. It looks like he's just going to prevent this huge creep wave from being lost to the tower. Just going to pick up some XP, make sure Rumble is safe while he's getting that farm. And we actually have Amazing coming in behind the top lane here.
I like this gank.
He's warded. It's not going to happen though. He's just going to come back on out.
Well, Diana has no kill potential anyway. She doesn't have her Moonfall, and pre-6, her damage is kind of meh. You need to get those 3 auto hits before you really, really do decent damage. But what I like that Alunir is doing here is that he's keeping the minions away from the turret so that, Hammer and Phalanx, they're not going to be able to push that tower down. Whereas on top lane, though, it seems that JWoww, is completely out of Crystalline Flask charges, so he's been really trying to tank these minions and keep them away from the turret. However, now his turret is completely vulnerable. We see Amazing kind of come in a second time. Just kind of creeping out in the back. The ward will spot him immediately, though.
It looks like he's just going to cover this top lane, I suspect, because As you said, JWoww getting very low. Ace, amazing going in there. He has landed that taunt. Sorry, that taunt. Anyway, that slow down there, so he's just going to be backing on out though. Did blow the exhaust from Inspiro though. Deadly Brother got very, very low, and he may still look for this Q. Does look like he's just going to be hanging out in this brush. Pink Ward goes down to reveal Amazing, who is.
I really like the pressure coming in from Amazing, because if you look at tower, it's sustained almost pretty much no damage, whereas if we take a look at the Rumble, his tower's already lost about 1,500 HP, so the swap don't even care about CS, even though that Rumble is, 10 CS behind. It seems that the swap is doing better for Peculiar Gaming, and they're not even the ones that initiated it, and that's always a bad thing. If you're not the ones who initiated the swap and you ended up getting the short end of the stick. However, one thing that we should note is that Jarvan, since he's been laning a lot with Rumble, he's getting a lot of free experience. So the Jarvan who's going to get 6 earlier is definitely going to be a much bigger threat. My only issue, however, now that I take a look at the Jarvan pick, though, is that Peculiar Gaming don't really have any squishy champions in the solo lanes. Diana's relatively tanky, Zaki's a melee champion, so he's definitely relatively tanky, so the Jarvan's not going to be able to just go EQ Demacia combo, nuke someone down with his dunk. It's not going to happen, so he needs them to either be really low or his lanes to get really fed.
Yeah, and it actually looks like Zach is getting really quite aggressive on Mazarin. He has gone in with less bounce. Ignite goes down, and it looks like Mazarin forced out of there. Did not get level 6 ahead of the Zach there, so obviously very, very scary now, because that Elastic Slingshot will come up in another 10 seconds or so, and that's a very long-range gap closer, so keeping an eye on that. Alan is sitting on a ward here, and the Q actually does reveal that fact. Phylox goes straight.
Here comes Amazing.
Yeah, Amazing coming in from the side here. He has got that Lee Sin. W goes in. Q goes down onto Alan, but he's not going to follow that. He is going to follow that up. Very risky play there. Flashes out from under the tower. And
I think that was
managed to get away with his life.
That was a little bit of a foolish move from Amazing. I'm not sure why he did that. Maybe he misclicked his Q and he tried to back away, but that actually ends up being a successful gank from Alanir. He burnt the exhaust off Sona when he didn't even commit to the gank with his E and Q, which is really, really good play from him. And at the other hand, he inadvertently burnt Amazing Splash. So now they have 2 champions with less summoners, and it's going to end up being good for them. Even summoners burnt at this level of play is something that teams can take advantage of.
Yeah, obviously, exhaust particularly is just absolutely huge in a skirmish fight with only 2 or 3 members, because you're cutting someone's damage in half, which means you're cutting down their overall damage by, a quarter, which is just absolutely awesome. We actually got JWoww going aggressive here. It's Amazing coming in on top of that, but it does look like he whiffed the Q, and now they're going to back on out just about alive.
That was still pretty good. I mean, the Varus now has no flash, and when you're up against someone like Diana with no flash, then you gotta be thinking yourself in a sense of a little bit more fear than normal, because the Diana, she does have good burst, and she's pretty good at harassing people down, but, next time Lee Sin comes around, all he has to do is really W onto the Diana, and pretty much they've got a good amount of slow combo from Moonfall and Tempest. What I'm really confused is that, Mazarin blew his flash quite a while ago, and Amazing hasn't really made any effort to come into this mid lane to make a play.
Well, there is always that risk, obviously, it being Orianna. She is a very CC heavy character, and she is currently quite pushed up to her tower. Obviously now pushing that out again though, but it looks like he's very focused on making sure that JWoww's tower stays up here. Amazing is hanging around behind again.
That is really good. I mean, look at it. He's level 6 now, so there's definitely room to make some play happen. JWoww just landed his Crescent Sweep onto the Varus, but he did not jump. It's going to be up in just a second.
JWoww actually going to be going in for this. He is diving into the middle of it. Chain of Corruption comes down. Q goes down from Amazing. He isn't actually able to get out of the range for the chain, but he does still stick to Deadly Brother. Exhaust goes down. Q goes down from Amazing, and he is going to get that kill with the flying kick to the face. And it does look like Jarvan is going to be coming in on top of this, though. Jumping in
6.
Through the brush. JWoww is just going to challenge him, but he doesn't want to risk dying himself. And Amazing is now in a bit of a spot. And Jarvan is not going to actually go for that Cataclysm.
He could have actually killed or burnt the flash of the, of either of them. He could have actually killed Amazing if he played that properly. But, a little bit of cold feet coming on this Jarvan, unfortunately, Alonir.
Yeah, I'm a little bit surprised myself, but it does. Maybe he was concerned if he went for Amazing that he'd pull some kind of, Q to a creep over the side of the wall and waste his ult. But Mazarin is going to be pressured now by Grillum. Quite a lot of damage, and Grillum is he's sustaining up pretty well.
So The Diana picked up quite a bit of a farm there and a decent amount of items, so she's pretty much in a good position here. She can start roaming. The tower did go down in the bot lane, and we see that, you know, visualized in the 2k gold lead for, sorry, a little bit slightly less than 2k gold lead for Peculiar Gaming right now. So it's only a matter of time really before they push on. Amazing was really trying hard to make those early plays happen, and it finally came out in that first blood and double summoner burn off the Varus, which is actually really good. Now that the champions in top lane, Phelox and Hammer, both level 6 with high CC abilities, the Arrow and the Crescendo, if Gruulum decides to kind of move towards top and use his Elastic Slingshot,
and we actually have the flash burn there by Phelox, threatened out by that Jarvan, but he's not done yet. He's going to be jumping on top of him, and now you have to use the flash because that is the problem with playing Ashe. No escapes whatsoever, no ability to get past the wall, but Amazing going for a response dragon.
Yep. That's really, really good play from Amazing right there. He does not have his Wriggles, though he's got the Rejuvenation Bead, which is going to be OP health regeneration right there. But they're going to take this dragon pretty much uncontested. Doesn't look like Mazarin or Envious are in a good position enough to defend it. That's a good pickup from Peculiar Gaming, extending their gold lead to just a little bit over 2k.
I am actually a little curious as to what you would expect Amazing to be building that Rejuvenation Bead into.
Possibly a Locket, maybe even Aegis too.
I forgot
they
about
both
Locket.
build into that.
Yeah.
What's really going to be scary now for Peculiar Gaming's, I guess, duo lane, I don't want to say bot lane anymore, is that now that they've both lost their flashes, even though they have good disengage from their ultimate, if they're not
Phelox actually getting ulted there by that Chain of Corruption, and it's just going to be a straight-up slugfest between Varus and Ashe.
Yeah, that was
Carry
actually a
on with
little
your
bit...
thought.
That's what I was talking about. If they're not careful, they could be picked off easily by that Chain of Corruption, and Luna does do a decent amount of damage. But Amazing, he's level 8. He's back in the top lane.
Oh, he lands the Q. He's going to be going over the wall, and he's going aggressive. Ashe Arrow does hit in spite of everything. Ulted back in, and Lulu is very, very dead. And that's actually Amazing is not done yet. He did follow that up with an extra Q.
What a great play for Amazing. And what's perfect is that he left that kill. He left that kill for the Ashe, who's...
Oh, he landed the Q. He's going in, and that's
unreal. Amazing. Amazing is amazing. Those plays are moves like Jagger, unreal.
He is just unbelievably good at landing those Qs, and it's the way you kind of... It looked like he was fighting Jarvan, then just suddenly kind of, you know, casually turns around in the middle of the fight, gives out that Varus. Really, really, really nice. But JWoww is, you know, still being stuck in this bottom lane, now just straight up fighting against Rumble. There's actually a very small CS difference between the two. We have now seen that top tower go down.
I feel that there's a little bit of miscommunication. I think that JWoww thought that he was going to be sitting top a little bit more and did not know he was going for the Rumble. And that's kind of, you see that when he picked up that Seeker's Arm Guard, which is an anti-armor, he's against 80 damage, and he's going against a Rumble. You really need early MR against Rumble, or otherwise he's just going to bully you. So JWoww, yeah, it's going to help him get his Hourglass early, which is definitely a key item for Diana, though I feel that he could have itemized towards an Abyssal Scepter and made himself a little bit better off in this 1v1 lane.
It might be, though, that he's just not planning on having to deal with Rumble that long. Because that bottom tower is down, it is quite risky for Rumble to keep pushing up to the tower. And obviously, that means that all Diana really has to do is freeze the lane at her tower, and Rumble is suddenly left in a bit of an awkward spot. He might be able to bully her around while he's there, but it'll take him a while to push her out. So we actually are now seeing Sona Phylox having that Oracle's Elixir, and just going to be taking some vision control. It is
it's early for Season 3, not for Season 2. I mean, Season 2 we would see a 3-4 minute Oracles if people wanted it.
Out can run out, and Amazing is actually going for the opposing blue buff here. I don't think anyone had any vision of him when he was heading in that direction.
That was his blue buff.
That was his. I am completely blind. But in other news, I guess Diana would have been the better choice to put that blue buff on, but was too far away. Sorry about that. It does look like they are potentially looking for something here, clearing out the ward that was near red buff. Amazing is looking
looking to make some big plays. That Sightstone and Brutalizer pickup, he's actually quite tanky right now, not unreal tanky, but it's not like he has to worry about that since Lee Sin is not the only frontliner. They've got that Zac, who's actually quite tanky, got a decent amount of HP, and then Diana. So since they're not all building pure tank, they're all kind of half defensive items, half offensive items. If all three of them go in at the same time, it's not going to be easy to kill them all, pretty much, because they do good damage and they're not squish balls.
Yeah, they also have a lot of vision control over this jungle right now. They did see that ward go down Frolux is just clearing out the area, and Rumble is feeling quite scared because he knows that they're in this area, and obviously they could go for a dive if he gets in range. They are just going to pressure the tower instead. JWoww obviously does proc that damage from the third hit on the tower, which will allow them to chunk it down very, very quickly here. It's a very nice play, but Jarvan is going in with the equalizer on top of that. Amazing is caught out horribly badly, but he is actually going to get out with his W. Now Himmer is just running away from this fight, kiting it backwards as she is ashed, but it does look like that great Cataclysm on top of him, but the shockwave gets dodged, and now JWoww is re-engaging Alan, going very, very low. Grillum is on the side here. He's on full health, but not really able to go for anything. Is going to take out the tower, though.
Three things that went really well for Cooler Gaming right now in that fight. First off, Amazing kicked away the Jarvan, so he was not really able to Cataclysm and finish anyone off. So he came into the fight just a little bit later. The Orianna ult did not come in at a proper time, and it only hit 1 or 2 people. And the third one was that the Sona ult just went absolutely perfect on 4 people. Hammer hitting the volley as well on 3 people just made it so easy to kite them off. The Moonfall hitting multiple people, you know, the Pale Cascade giving her so much shield on the Diana, they were just able to kite and disengage, and then go back and pick up that turret. So they ended up trading a turret for a turret, and then they went mid and picked up another turret. So Peculiar Gaming, almost 5k gold lead, and it's really showing that they're pushing as a team, and not as individual players, which is always really good to see.
Yeah, they are really taking control of this game, but it does look like there might be a revenge attack here on this middle tower. GamingGear going to be pressuring this out. JWoww is low on health and mana, and Varus is going to be able to poke this down. They have got the shields. Amazing is out on the side. We have got the engage here from Grillum. He had gone right into the middle, but he's actually just going to be backing on out, forced to go quite slowly, and actually going very, very low from just the combined poke he was up against.
So many slows. The hail of arrows followed by the Lulu slow just allowed him to just run in a snail's pace towards the turret, which was kind of bad for him. He got chunked quite hard, but he did end up backing for his Haunting guys. Quite a good pickup. Penetration items are great on Zac. You deal so much damage with your base stats already that it's just good on him. He's like a Rumble, but tankier. I think Zac is really good at that.
Yeah, obviously also having just that capacity to make an engagement every 20 seconds, which is really, really nice. And Alan, checking out this red buff here, does look like they're going to back out from it, go for this dragon instead, and Amazing just doesn't quite get the Q in. I think they're going to burst this down before Amazing can even get there, and Amazing is just going to be seeing what happens here. Will they go for this engaging here? Grillum is charging up the slingshot. He's gone in. Alan is being slowed down and taking quite a lot of damage, and JWoww is zoning out both Orianna and Dudley Brother. They are not able to put down many damage at all. Rubble going very, very low here. Let's Bounce goes down. The shockwave comes in on just Amazing, and it looks like NBS LOL is going to go down as well. Grillum is still in the middle of the fight. JWoww picks up one. He's going to jump in for the others if he can. He does get onto Deadly Brother now, and it looks like this is going to be an extra kill.
30 more mana for an Ash Arrow.
Yep, no Ash
Arrow. The Ash Arrow never left the quiver. Is that a
pity?
Yeah, and pity, because I would have just left to see Hammer go. Ash Arrow, boom, AoE. Actually, that's decent AoE damage, but that was really good for PG. They kind of split up team GamingGear right there, and then picked them off at completely different angles. You know, Grulum was all the way in the back line taking out this champion. Since he was quite tanky, I feel that GamingGear just don't have the damage to deal with these assassin all-in types yet. And now Amazing is taking a field trip through the jungle and doing pretty much whatever he wants. He's so far ahead. He's 4-0-3 with 79 creeps, and he's just saying, you know what, your jungle, all of it belongs to me.
Yeah, he's at that point with Lee Sin where you're just such a dominant force, and you can afford to take extreme risks because you're so mobile. And if you catch someone out, you're pretty much going to be able to 1v1 anyone at this point. He is just really, really strong. And even if he can't fight them, he's at no huge concern, no huge risk. Because obviously, yeah, just he's Lee Sin. He can jump everywhere at any point.
So people are talking about in the chat about Dragon for 4 people. What I feel that it is that if you lose 3 people but you get a dragon, then you break even. But if you lose 4, of course, you know, it's bad. But one thing is that I don't ever like to give up kills for the Drake, because gold is good if it's spread out, but it's better if it's concentrated on one person. That one person, say he gets 3 kills at the Drake fight, and even if he's the jungler, he automatically has this huge advantage over your jungler. So you always got to remember that gold in one person is a lot stronger than gold spread out.
Yeah, I would always say as well that like my heuristic for a successful dragon was getting losing no more than 2 people, because there's also that risk if you lose more than 2 people that they're just going to be able to take a free tower in response, which is obviously just going to equalize the gold out, and then you've also lost your kills.
Or take your jungle, or take objectives, other objectives that not necessarily towers. It's like you just get the complete map control if you end up getting more kills than the enemy over a dragon fight.
Yeah, still, it does look like what you're noticing here, I suspect, the sheer level of ward difference at the moment. I mean, there are absolutely no wards in the bottom jungle. That's basically irrelevant, and it just shows how dominant Peculiar Gaming are at the moment. Does look like they might be going for this kill up top. Both Rumble and Varus are here, and if they overextend, they could be going for this. They are going to be jumping into the middle. JWoww is going to pull him in. Crescendo goes down on top of that. He is going to get bursted down very, very quickly indeed, and we have Zach just jumping in for the party after the kill.
That was a really good crescendo. It caught the Varus pretty much charging his Q, and he was not able to ever, shoot it out in the end because of the crescendo time. So that's really good. They ended up using one ult for a kill, and now they've got complete control over this top side of the jungle. They're gonna look to maybe make a play happen. Here goes
Yes, that actually has gone in. We've got the Ash Arrow onto Mazrin, who just gets insta-geared by Amazing and Grum, and it looks like they're just going to be able to take this tower pretty much for free.
That was, again, really, really good Ash Arrow. Mazrin was just completely, in a forward position, which allowed Amazing to sneak up behind him. The ultimate was about to go off, but it didn't actually deal its damage. Amazing didn't even have to use his ultimate to secure a kill for his team. Though PG getting kind of poked. Some of their champions are quite low on mana, so I would see them try to run back and regroup, make a shopping spree, and then come back and take more map objectives. They have this Oracle on Sona for another maybe 3 minutes. 3 minutes is my guesstimate right there. So they've definitely got the resources in order to make this Nash happen actually quite fast. Blade of the Ruined King, percentage damage on Zac, and then there's the Lee Sin, who's really good at taking down things that have low HP.
Yeah, obviously Lee Sin does do extremely well with that Dragon Take. He's also, they have a very good composition for taking Dragon in that they have a lot of innate sustain. I mean, they have that Diana shield, they have that Lee Sin shield, they have that Zac sustain on his health, and they have that Sona to top them off as well, which obviously means that it's much less risky for them to take it, because there's much less chance that, if they are forced off it, that the enemy will then be able to take a revenge Baron from them. Still, we have now got some item pickups coming out. We've got the Aegis of the Legion on Lee Sin, and I'm actually personally a little bit surprised not to see the Liandry's Torment on Zac, but maybe he just wanted to be a little more tanky.
What I really, really like now is that GamingGear had a really strong showing yesterday, and it seemed that they were definitely the favorites of the tournament. We weren't really able to catch
Rumble down in the bottom here. Sorry, hold that thought. We've got JWoww going in on him. He has blown the equalizer and just been deleted.
Did you see that? Amazing was stuck on the other side of the wall. Did you see that too? Did you see Amazing kind of get stuck on the other side of the wall? I have a little bit of a visual bug. GamingGear had a really strong showing yesterday, and it kind of looked like it was one-sided games all day. It was 2-0s all day. We didn't really get a chance to see Peculiar Gaming for most of the day. It was casted on the German stream, actually. It's really, really nice to see Peculiar Gaming, come and upset GamingGear, who had a pretty strong showing yesterday.
Yeah, they have done a very, very, very dominant showing thus far, and it's still not over at this point. GamingGear can still definitely turtle this out. They do obviously have quite a difficult team to be dived, but they are up against a very good diving team, so it's going to be interesting to see how well they can manage this. Mazrin only has that Fiend's Unholy Grail at this point, which if you compare that to, Zac, who has got that Spirit Visage, has got that Guise, has also got Giant Spell, Chain Vest, and Cloth Armor. I'm not exactly sure on the gold difference between them, but certainly it's pretty significant right now.
It's actually a 2.4k gold difference. Sorry, wow, I looked at Rumble and Zac, my bad. It's a 500 gold difference between Zac and Orianna. However, a 2.9k, almost 3k gold difference between Rumble and Diana. So the Zac is building a little bit tankier, and they're going to rely on Diana to be doing that kind of burst magic damage, whereas Zac is going to just jump around, slowing people, doing some decent percentage damage with his magic damage, but he's definitely not going to nuke someone from full HP to nothing.
Obviously, having that Abyssal Scepter on JWoww, though, is going to be really, really nice, because both of those characters do so well off of that spell penetration. Obviously, as you mentioned, Zac. So he's going to have, effectively... He hasn't actually picked up the Sork Shoes yet, which I would expect him to do, but... he'd have maybe 50 flat penetration, effectively, with that Abyssal Scepter as well. And that's a significant chunk right there. But actually amazing, putting down a pink ward. Yeah, not sure he wants to quite touch that out. He's suddenly thought better of actually killing that ward.
Lee Sin with a pretty mediocre early game. He managed to turn that into a fantastic mid game for his team.
Yeah, so what we're seeing now though is GamingGear applying the brakes basically. They are just trying to make sure that this game goes on as long as possible, because they as the time goes on, they will have the goal difference between the two teams decrease, in terms of proportion. So although the total goal will increase, the difference between the teams will decrease. So as a result, the onus is on Peculiar Gaming to make an engagement happen, and it looks like they could look for an engagement here. Mazarin isn't actually available, and it would be a 4v5. Grillum is hanging over the wall. It is looking... Nope, not going to happen.
It looks like he has to take a crap.
Charming. So anyway, Grillum is going to stay on the other side of that wall. He's looking for an engage at any moment, but it would now be a 5-on-5 behind that inner turret. Little bit risky for the taste of Peculiar Gaming. So it looks like they're going to go back to trying to get some poke down on the tower with maybe a little bit of split push on top of that. They have got that top wave pushing in, and it looks like Amazing is heading up there right now.
I like what Peculiar Gaming are doing here. They pushed up their side lanes in a slow push type of format, so it's not going to completely shove out all the way. They've taken maybe 1 or 2 creeps so that the creep wave will grow over time. And as you see, like by the time it hits that turret, it's a gigantic wave of minions, maybe 4.5 combined waves. Like what we see happening in the bot lane right now. So GamingGear have to respond to that or lose their mid turret or get engaged on.
Yeah, sorry, there is actually an engagement going on there. NDS going very, very low. In fact, everyone just being pretty much flat out deleted, and Grillum does manage to dash just out of range of the tower, so it looks like he might die from the tower shots though on those little bloblets. But sorry, I did not actually catch the start of that fight, and it was definitely a decisive victory for Peculiar Gaming, taking the tower and 2 people down for free.
It was a good crescendo ult coming in from Velox right there. Caught 4 people, and then Grulum's Let's Bounce and Elastic Slingshot caught a lot of people in one position. Kind of just CC'd them while Ashe hit on them, Diana hit them, and then Mazarin almost picked up JWoww, but a really, really good clutch safeguard from Lee Sin, just as the last tick of Ignite would have killed him, saved JWoww, making the score, still no deaths on Peculiar Gaming, so...
Yeah.
Maybe we'll see. We'll have to report someone, the first person who dies, for feeding.
It's certainly looking like it could be some kind of a whitewash at the moment. They are doing just incredibly good job of controlling every aspect of the game, and as you say, no one has died. Just absolutely massive performance coming out here, and Grillum is going to be, looking for... Part of that, of course, is that vision control. Part of the control over the entire map they've had pretty much since the mid-game started is just the fact they've been clearing out wards and they've been taking control of objectives. And it looks like Inspiro might walk face first into Amazing here. He is in a little bit of a spot here. Does actually get the Q on him, but Amazing, he's a little bit...
Oh, snap!
Actually, suddenly in comes Zach. Let's bounce, let's jump straight on everybody's face. Rumble does actually manage to go for that, and a snipe from Ashe does pick up that Lulu, and it looks like Grillum is not done yet. He is going to dive under the tower. Does go quite low here, and he doesn't have his passive available. Does have to flash out as a result. But in the end,
a little bit
aggressive,
a little bit hyphy coming in from Grillum there, but definitely a good engage. Picking up a kill for your AD carry is definitely something that you want. He's kind of been a little bit on the side hammer, just farming away. But look at him. He's got 253 CS, 2-0-6. He's relatively farmed. He's got 2.4k above the Varus, and I really like what Peculiar Gaming are doing here, though there's still the Orianna ult and the Lulu ult that definitely could change the fight if they do it properly. GamingGear, however, are 10k gold behind. That's a bad position to be in at this
just
point.
Actually spotted out Amazing, and I'm kind of surprised Amazing didn't go, that aggressively, and he is actually queuing onto him, but not going to follow it up. Sorry, continue with your thought.
Dude, you just keep interrupting me. I lose track of things. All I can think about now is mashed potatoes.
That must be some kind of insult to my family or something like that. But anyway, yeah, I'm afraid I will keep interrupting you when I think something is going to happen.
Oh God, Sona's about to heal. Something like that.
Whoa, chill there. Seriously, man.
Gee.
I'm scared now that Sona could heal. She actually did just debuff that minion, which is a little bit interesting. Pushing out that lane a little bit faster. And they did make Dragon actually immune, didn't they, to the debuff in this very patch?
Yeah, I believe they did. But looks like, you know, just overall, PG are kind of slowing the pace of the game down. We saw a little bit more of an aggressive earlier, but you know, I feel that PG is saying, okay, guys, we got the game in the bag. There's no need to do anything completely stupid. In the next few minutes, aggressive. Let's we got an oracles. We've got control of the map. Let's just relax, take objectives, starve them of experience. I think is the best thing to say. And Sona picks up a Spirit of the Ancient Golem.
That's that actually makes a certain amount of sense if you think about it.
Spirit of the Ancient Golem is ridiculously OP as an item. It's so cost efficient. So it was only a matter of time before we start seeing it on laners, but on supports, when you have that kind of money to shell out, something is terribly wrong.
Yeah, but if you think about it though, tenacity is pretty important on Sona because she's very squishy, liable to get caught in that AoE with the positioning for her crescendo. So she obviously wants to be able to get out that crescendo and obviously wants to be able to stick close to the team fight without dying. That little bit of extra health prevents her from getting bursted down. They are going for this Baron here, and obviously the health and mana regen is super nice on her as well. Obviously the Butcher passive isn't quite as useful on Sona, but yeah, it does look like they're just going to take this for free.
Have a hunch, but nothing's going to happen. And now Ash Arrow is definitely going to start the engagement right now. Oh boy,
Grulum is going to be going in. Ash Arrow goes straight down onto Jarvan. The disengage is trying from the Equalizer, but it's not going to be enough. Left bounce in the middle. Crescendo comes down on top of that. Grulum going very, very aggressive, and he is charging that slingshot. Going to be landing right next to NBS Lol, who is just going to have to run for his life, but he has an Ash on his behind. He is going to go down very quickly. Amazing now, looking for this engage. He does not have any energy.
He landed 3 Qs in a row onto Mazarin, just completely zoning him out of that fight. Mazarin was not able to get a good position to ult. MVP of that fight actually has to be Grulum and Amazing combined, because if the Orianna managed to ult onto Alanir before he died, I think he could have gotten away.
Yeah, we actually now have got J-Mac going very aggressive on Deadly Brother, going to be bursting him very, very low. We have got the Shockwave onto 4, and this actually is a potential for the first kill of the game, but no, it is looking like Mazarin is just going to get blown up by Amazing and Grulum. And this inhibitor is going to go down, and I wouldn't be surprised to see them press the Nexus.
Oh my god, that just superb gameplay coming out of Peculiar Gaming. 16-0, flawless victory. This feels like a Mortal Kombat, like a pro versus a Tekken 12-year-old. You know.
I feel you're bringing in some kind of prejudice there. I don't know anything about fighting games though, so this is going to be game 1 going to Peculiar Gaming in an absolutely dominant fashion. 16-0, nobody died. Incredibly well played.
Flawless victory.
Flawless victory indeed, and I think we will probably be moving very quickly into the second game. And yeah, it is definitely interesting to see how GamingGear, in spite of being so good yesterday, just got rolled.
It's a little bit weird to see this because GamingGear had a pretty good showing yesterday. They were technically stomping Bench into the ground. And Benched aren't necessarily a walkover, but Peculiar just completely destroyed them this game. 16-0, just complete map control. 16-0-43, the total team score.
Right, so anyway, I think while we wait for the players to get back into the lobby, we are going to be moving into a quick commercial break. And I will see you all in just a few minutes.
Before you, I will not be casting the next game, so Sveddington, we'll see you.
Yeah, we are doing a caster rotation, so I'm not actually certain who's casting next game. We will be seeing in a second. But as I say, see you later.
See you guys.
Time is fleeting.